My daughter called me crying. Dad, Mom's boyfriend hit me again. He said that if I tell you, he'll hurt you too. I was 800 kilometers away on a work trip. When I called my ex-wife, she told me my daughter was a liar. Yvonne would never hurt anyone. She screamed, but in the background, I heard him shout, tell your father he's next. Without a second thought, booked the first flight back. And I wasn't going alone. I was in a motel in Denver, finishing a day's work. I'm a federal agent. I hunt fugitives. So travel is part of my routine. But when my phone vibrated and I saw the name of Jimenez, my 7-year-old daughter, I knew something was wrong. I answered quickly. Dad. She whispered, her voice trembling. Mom's boyfriend hit me again. He said that if I tell you, he'll hurt you too. My heart stopped. Jimenez was 800 kilometers away at home with my ex-wife, Alicia. The thought of my daughter crying, saying that Ivan, her mother's boyfriend, had hurt her, filled me with rage. Where are you? I asked, trying not to sound as upset as I felt. In my room, she said. I locked the door. Dad, I'm scared. Stay there. Don't open it. Told her. I'm on my way, sweetheart. I love you. I hung up and dialed Alicia. She answered quickly with that annoyed tone she always uses with me. What do you want? Jimenez called me. I said. She said Yvonne hit her. Alicia let out a dry laugh. That's a lie. Jimenez makes things up for attention. Even wouldn't hurt anyone. Then why is she crying? I insisted. Don't give me that, Alicia. She's a liar. She yelled. But in the background I heard Yvonne tell your father he's next. His voice was pure hatred. What was that? I said. That was Ivan. That sounded like a threat. It's nothing. Alicia replied, sounding nervous. He's just upset. Don't make a drama out of it. I hung up. I wasn't going to waste time arguing. Alicia was blindly defending that guy. I opened my laptop and bought a ticket for the first flight home. It was leaving in 3 hours. In the meantime, I called my brother. He's a soldier in an army commando unit. Victor, I need you to come with me. It's Jimenez. She's in trouble. What happened? He asked seriously. I told him about the call, the threats, Alicia's denial. See you at the airport. He said, I'll bring what's necessary. Thanks. I replied with Victor by my side. I knew I could handle whatever came next at the airport. I sent a message to a contact at the office. Investigative on Garcia lives in my city. Everything you can find urgent. He replied quickly. Give me a few hours waiting for the flight. My mind wouldn't stop racing. Ivan wasn't just some violent guy. Something in his voice told me he was dangerous, truly dangerous as an agent. I trust my gut, and my gut was screaming that Jimenez was in real peril. Victor arrived with a backpack and that usual hard look in his eyes plan. He said, get him in out of that house. I answered. Then we deal with Ivan. We boarded the plane. We didn't talk much, but we didn't need to. Victor understood when we landed. My contact had sent a message. Ivan Garcia. Record of child abuse case closed without evidence. Possible aliases, suspicious connections. Be careful, that changed everything. Yvonne wasn't just an abuser. He was something worse. We went straight to Alicia's house. It was 2 a.m, but I didn't care. I pounded on the door. Alicia opened it annoyed. What are you doing here? She said. Where's Jimenez? I asked, pushing past her. She's sleeping. She replied, crossing her arms. You're not taking her out of here. Your boyfriend hit her. I said. He threatened me. I'm not leaving without her. Yvonne appeared in the hallway with a smirk that made me want to wipe it off his face with my fist. Calm down, man. There's no problem here. There is a problem, I said, taking a step toward him. Victor grabbed my arm, keeping me in check. Jimenez is fine. Alicia insisted. Go away. Not until I see her, I said. Alicia went upstairs to get her. When Jimenez came down, her eyes were red. She had a bruise on her arm. She ran to me and hugged me. Dad, she whispered. I'm here now, I said, lifting her up. We're leaving. You can't take her. Alicia screamed, but I ignored her. Yvonne just watched, not moving. His stare gave me a bad feeling. I took him to a hotel and asked Victor to stay with her. I went to the office to review the data for my contact. Ivan had a murky history, but there was something more. They found a record of a storage unit in his name on the outskirts of town. I decided to go check it out. It was a dark place with a lock that was easy for someone like me to open. Inside, there were boxes with documents and hard drives. What I saw made me sick. Photos, names, dates. Ivan wasn't just an abuser. He was involved in something much bigger. There were notes about Jimenez's plans to take her far away. I went back to the hotel and told Victor, this isn't just Yvonne. I said, it's a network. What do we do? He asked. Keep him in a safe. I replied, we go after that son of a bitch. That night I received an anonymous message. If one knows you were in his unit, be careful. Someone was watching us. I took him in to my mother's, a safe place. Then Victor and I followed Yvonne. We saw him near him in a school talking to 2 strange guys. We followed them to a warehouse. We heard enough to know they were planning something big, something involving the school. We couldn't wait that night. Victor and I broke into the warehouse. We neutralized the 2 guys, but Ivan wasn't there. We found explosives and documents that spoke of a child trafficking ring. Someone called the administrator was in charge. I went back to Jimenez, but I couldn't stay still. Yvonne was still free, and my daughter wouldn't be safe until I caught him. The documents from the storage unit had my nerves on edge. They not only confirmed that Ivan was an abuser, but that he was involved in a child trafficking network. My little girl was in his plans. Every second that guy was on the loose was a danger. I left him with my mother, the only place I felt at ease. Before I left, I hugged her tight. Everything is going to be okay, sweetie, I told her, although the fear in her eyes broke my soul. Are you coming back soon, Dad? She asked, squeezing my hand. Yes, I promise, I said, kissing her forehead. I hated leaving her, but there was no choice in the car. I checked my phone. My contact at the office had sent me a tip. Yvonne was seen at a motel on Route 17. It wasn't much, but it was something. I sent a message to Victor. I'm going to the motel on Route 17. If you don't hear from me in 2 hours, come, understood. He replied, be careful. This guy isn't alone. I knew it. 2 men we neutralized in the warehouse were not just any thugs. They had documents that spoke of an organized network with code names and dates. The administrator was a mystery, but Yvonne was the key to finding him. I arrived at the motel at dawn. It was an old place with broken signs and dilapidated cars. I went into the reception, put on a cap, and pretended to be a traveler. I slid a $20 bill to the receptionist, a guy who barely looked up from his phone. "I'm looking for a friend," I said. "Yvonne Garcia, tall short hair, tattoo on his neck, room 12. He mumbled, taking the money. I didn't see anything. I nodded and left. Room 12 was at the end of the exterior corridor. I approached carefully, checking the windows. The curtains were closed, but I could hear a voice. It was Yvonne talking on the phone. "No, I'm not crazy," he said tensely. "The girl's father was at the unit. He knows too much. We have to move." I clenched my fists but held back. I needed information, not just revenge. I took out my phone and recorded through the slightly open window. "The administrator wants to finish this," Yvonne continued. "The school is the place. Everything is ready for tomorrow. Afterward, we take the girl and finish off the father." I stopped the recording and moved away. I couldn't go in now. If I caught him, I would alert his accomplices. And whatever they were planning at the school would still go ahead. But knowing that Jimenez was their target made my blood boil. I called Victor. "Ivan is at the motel. They're planning something at him in a school tomorrow." "How bad?" he asked. "Explosives, trafficking, everything from the warehouse, and they want him in." A Victor growled. "I'm on my way." "Plan. Follow him." I said. "If we catch him, now we lose the administrator, but we can't let them touch the school." "I'll bring gear," he said. I spent the day watching the motel from my car. Ivan came out once, got into a black van, and drove off. I followed him from a distance. He went to a mechanic shop in an industrial neighborhood. I parked far away and watched 2 men greeted him, one with a scar on his face. They exchanged a bag and went inside. I didn't need to see more to know it was something shady. When Ivan returned to the motel, it was night. Victor arrived with a backpack, radios, binoculars, pistols, bulletproof vests. I didn't ask where he got it all. "What do we know?" he said, checking his weapon. "Ivan is with at least 2 guys." I replied. "They're planning something at the school tomorrow." He mentioned explosives and Jimenez. "I think they want her as bait to catch me." Victor nodded. "We strike first." "How the workshop tonight?" I said. "If they have the explosives there, we destroy them. Then we go for Ivan." We went to the workshop. A guy was smoking at the entrance. Victor knocked him out in seconds without a sound. We went inside and found a basement with boxes. There were explosives, maps of the school, lists of names. Jimenez's name was on one. Made me sick. "This is sick," to muttered. "How bad?" I said. "But first, pictures." We took images of everything. Then Victor poured gasoline and lit a match. We left as the flames grew, dragging the guard to a safe place. I didn't want any unnecessary deaths in the car. I reviewed the photos. The map showed entrances to the school and schedules. They planned to attack during recess with the children outside. There was a note. "The girl goes with the administrator after the job. Yvonne isn't alone." I told Victor. "Someone big is directing him. We'll make him talk." He replied. "Let's go back to the motel." We arrived just as Ivan was leaving with a suitcase. We followed him to an empty parking lot. He got out looking around nervously. We approached, but a van appeared. 2 armed men got out in sauce. They opened fire. We took cover behind the dumpster. Bad idea following him without backup. 2 shouted, firing back. There was no time. I replied, taking down one guy. The other hit. Ivan ran to the van. "Don't let him go," I said. Victor went after him, but Yvonne sped off and escaped. We caught the second man. I threw him to the ground with my knee on his chest. "Who is the administrator?" I asked. "I don't know," he gasped. "I just follow orders from Ivan." "Bad news." I said. "Ivan is gone, and you're here." Victor tied him up. We put him in the car. I called my contact. "Watch my daughter's school tomorrow and check a name." "The administrator, this sounds big," he said. "What have you gotten yourself into?" "Something I can't let go," I replied. We took the guy to a warehouse. Victor knew. It wasn't legal, but I didn't care. We sat him down and questioned him. He resisted at first to convince him. "Yvonne works for a guy named Saul," he said. "I don't know his last name. He organizes everything. Kids, shipments, money, even does the dirty work." "Where's Saul?" I insisted. "I've never seen him." "Ivan gets orders by phone." "The school?" I asked. "They want to make noise," he said. "Distract the police while they move kids. The girl Jimena is special to solve." I don't know why we left him tied up and went out. "This is bigger than I thought," I said. "Ivan is the weak link to said if we catch him, we get to Seoul," but Ivan had vanished. We checked the motel, the workshop, everything, nothing. My contact called at dawn. "The school is under surveillance," he said. "I found something. Saul Brown, a CIA agent, disappeared 10 years ago. Rumors of criminal networks. He's a ghost, an ex-CIA agent that explained the organization, but it also meant catching him would be tough. Couldn't give up. Jimena depended on me." I went back to see my daughter. She was with my mother coloring, trying to seem normal. I knelt down. "Everything is going to be okay," I said, though I wasn't sure that night. Victor and I planned. Ivan was free. Saul was a shadow, but the documents from the workshop gave us a clear. Ranch in Nevada was mentioned several times. "If we go, it's all or nothing," Victor said. "Then it's all," I replied. I didn't know what we would find, but I wasn't going to stop until Jimenez was safe. The lead about the ranch in Nevada was all we had. Saul Brown, the ex-CIA agent behind the trafficking ring, was a ghost, but Ivan was our ticket to him. And even though Ivan had escaped, he couldn't hide forever. Victor and I prepared that night. We packed the essentials, bins, vests, a couple of radios, the documents we copied from the workshop. If the ranch was sole center of operations, we were going to need everything we had. Before leaving, I stopped by my mother's house to see him, and as she was asleep hugging a teddy bear, I stayed for a moment watching her, promising myself this would end soon. "Ready?" Victor asked from the door. Yeah, I said, though the weight in my chest wouldn't go away. Let's finish this. The drive to Nevada was long, almost 10 hours. We didn't talk much, but the tension between us was palpable. Victor reviewed the maps of the ranch we found in the photos while I tried to keep a clear head. Saul was no ordinary criminal. An ex-CIA agent knew how to cover his tracks, how to fight, how to disappear. But I had something he did and a reason not to give up. We arrived at the ranch at dusk. It was an isolated place in the middle of the desert, surrounded by dry hills. A high fence and security cameras marked the perimeter. There were no lights on, but that didn't mean it was empty. We parked a kilometer away and approached on foot, moving through the shadows. This is too quiet, Victor murmured, scanning with binoculars. Too quiet to be the hideout of a guy like Saul. That worries me more. I said, keep your eyes open. We cut a hole in the fence and went in. The ranch had a main building, a barn, and a couple of smaller structures. We split up. Victor went to the barn. I went to the main building. The door was unlocked, which put my nerves on edge. I entered, pistol in, hand moving in, silence. The inside was dark, smelling of dust, and something else. Something metallic. I found an office with computers and files. I quickly checked and saw names, dates, shipping routes. It was Saul's network, all documented. But what chilled my blood was a photo of him and a pin to a board with a note, priority delivery. There was no time to process it. I heard a click behind me. I turned and saw Yvonne pointing a gun at me. His smile was pure venom. I told you were next. He said, you shouldn't have touched my daughter. I replied, not lowering my weapon. It's not personal, he said, just business. Saul pays well, and your girl is special. I wanted to shoot him right there, but a noise at the door stopped me. 2 armed men entered. I was at a disadvantage. I lowered my weapon slowly, pretending to surrender while calculating my options. Saul wants to see you, Evans said. But first we're going to have some fun. I didn't give him the chance. I launched at the nearest man, disarming him with a quick blow. I shot the second one, who fell to the ground. Yvonne tried to run, but I tackled him. We rolled on the floor struggling. He was strong, but I was furious. I punched him in the face and immobilized him. Where's Saul? I yelled. Even laughed. Blood in his teeth. You won't find him. He's a ghost. A shot rang out outside. It was Victor. I tied Yvonne with a cable. I found and ran to the barn. I found my brother facing 3 men. One was already on the ground, but the others had him cornered. I joined the shootout, taking down one. Victor took care of the other. Are you? Oki asked. He said, panting. But this is a damn hornet's nest. We checked the barn. There were empty cages, too small for animals. My stomach turned. This wasn't just a hideout. It was an operation center for the trafficking ring. We found more documents, including an itinerary that mentioned Saul would be at ranch that very night. He's here, I said. We have to find him. We went back to the main building. Ivan was still tied up, but now he was quiet with a lost look in his eyes. I didn't trust him. We dragged him with us as we searched the place. In the basement, we found a control room with monitors showing the ranch and nearby roads. Saul was prepared for anything. An engine roared outside. We ran to the window and saw a van speeding away. That's him. I said. We left Avon and ran to our car. Chase was intense. The desert flying by around us. Saul's van was fast, but not fast enough. I shot out the tires and the vehicle swerved violently, crashing into a rock. We approached cautiously. Saul got out limping with a pistol in his hand. He was older than I expected, with graying hair and a cold gaze. You don't know who you're messing with, he said. I know exactly who I'm messing with. I replied, a monster who uses children for his business. Saul laughed. Business is business. Your daughter would have been a good asset. Victor knocked him down with a single blow before he could shoot. We tied him up and checked the van. There were laptops, money, and more documents. Everything we needed to dismantle the network. What do we do with him? Victor asked. He doesn't deserve to live, I said, but I knew I couldn't become what he was. We turned him in, let justice handle it. We returned to the ranch and found Yvonne trying to escape. He didn't make it. We handed him over to the police along with Saul and the evidence. The documents and hard drives were enough to lock up dozens of traffickers. The network collapsed in weeks, but I didn't feel at peace. I quit my job as an agent. I couldn't continue within a system that left loose ends. Jimenez was safe. There were more children out there and more predators. Like Saul, Ivan didn't last long in prison. Someone took care of him. I didn't shed a tear for him. I moved with him, to a small town. She started to smile again, to play to be a child. But I had changed. I became something else. Someone who hunts monsters in the shadows without a badge, without rules. Victor helps me when he can, but this is personal. Every night before I sleep, I look at Jimenez and remember why I do this. No one will ever touch her again. As long as there are predators on the loose, I will not rest.